Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Gamer 54 another video, and today, yes, I know, I realize that I'm a little bit far behind schedule. A lot of things have been going on, and I got the seasonal flu. Is what just happened. So I had to take a few days off to recover. But we're here now. I feel a little bit better, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, new video just uploaded. It's going to be The Amazing Digital Circus, and it's all about Season 2. So, without further ado, we're not going to waste any more time about this. Let's do this. Make up some last times.
One of these characters in The Amazing Digital Circus is an AI imposter.
Nani?
An NPC that somehow slipped through the cracks and is now living amongst the human cast of the circus without anyone noticing. And the worst part of it all, they are the true villain of the show. The real monster torturing the rest of the cast for their own amusement.
Let me guess.
Hello, Internet.
It's
Welcome to Film
Jax.
Theory, the show that wants you to pop that subscribe button like a crocodile-shaped balloon. So
Dang.
finally, after
Yeah,
6
to do him
months,
like that.
we've gotten the return of the wacky world and awesome
Not
adventures of the
Gooby.
Amazing Digital Circus. And man, episode 2 reveals so much about these characters, this series, and just how this world operates.
So, our entire existence here is just LARPing.
It's like the Ren Fair. In this latest episode, Kane sends the gang to a new level called the Candy Canyon Kingdom, where they fight on candy war rigs, Mad Max style.
What time period is this supposed to be again?
I had the same question, Pomni. During this
Yeah.
quest, Pomni and a Candy Crocodile Dundee NPC named Gummy Goo both fall
Gummy
out
Goo.
of bounds into what looks like a developer room. Here, Gummy Goo discovers a copy of himself, lifeless and stuck in a default A pose. I guess the T pose wasn't submissive and agreeable enough. And
Dang.
goes through an existential crisis after realizing that he's not actually real.
Where's Mum? I can't even remember her face. Did she ever have a face?
Pomni empathizes and invites Gummy Goo to live with the rest of the castmates
Don't
in the
show
digital
me.
circus to find some purpose. But after the gang finishes the adventure, Kane seemingly deletes Gummy Goo, much to Pomni's horror. Looks like one of these guys made it through. Wait, what?
Oh, wait, what?
This episode
Wow.
was dense, and we learned a lot about how the circus works, and also more about each of the
Rest in
main
peace,
characters.
Gumby Goo.
For example, apparently the cast can remember elements from their past lives. It's just their names that have been completely forgotten. We also learned that maybe, just maybe, the AI within this computer game isn't actually that different from the human characters that get sucked into it. Yeah, this was a major theme for the episode. There was a whole multi-minute long conversation dedicated to the subject, and it got me wondering, well, what if there isn't a difference? And what if the series is really going to drive that home with a twist reveal down the road? That's right, friends. I believe that one of our main cast here in the Amazing Digital Circus is an NPC, an AI created by Kane who has somehow wormed their way into the circus and is now living amongst the human cast without anyone noticing. And
So, who do you guys think it is? I'm gonna say it here and now. I think that it's Jax, because there has been a lot of videos talking about, well, not really videos, but like posts saying that Jax could be the imposter. And honestly, I can kind of see it. Jax is nothing but a menace. He is a menace who thrives on the sorrows of others, man. Like, my man was so disappointed as all. Like, he didn't get to see no destruction, no nothing. And, I mean, trust me, I do want to say Kane, but honestly, it just doesn't feel right. Like, why would Kane make NPCs if he himself is an NPC? Was he feeling lonely or something? So it has to be Jax. And why do I think it's Jax? Why hasn't Kane dealt with this man? Well, because Jax just simply amused Kane. His antics just amuse him so Kane just lets him by. Now, am I trying to say that Kane knows that Jax is an NPC? I don't know, maybe. It could be. But, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I am 100% agreeing it could be Jax, who is the imposter here.
figuring out exactly who that is will show us who the true villain is in the Amazing Digital Circus. Prepare yourself for an episode that's 57 times more immersive, friends. We're diving in. But before we talk about the bright, colorful characters of the Amazing Digital Circus, let's
I
talk
know
about
it.
the bright, colorful clothing. So
All right, we're
why
back.
would I claim that there's an NPC amongst all of the castmates here in the Amazing Digital Circus? Well, not to bury the lead, but Kane heavily implies that an NPC has come into the circus before. At the end of episode 2, when Kane pops pops Gummy Goo like a balloon, he explains that he did so because Gummy Goo was an NPC.
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen?
That could have a couple of implications. Maybe Kane accidentally deleted a human castmate before, or maybe one of these humans is actually an NPC. Well, the latter seems much more likely.
I doubt he
because it
has
doesn't
sympathy
seem like
for doing
Kane
that.
Can delete humans. When characters like Kaufmo abstract, Kane doesn't delete them despite that being an easier solution. Instead, he just throws them down into the cellar. No, more likely, an NPC has made it back to the circus before, and Kane just can't remember who is who anymore. That seems like an awfully big Chekhov's gun to hang on the wall and never go off. And
Yeah.
This isn't even the only piece of evidence pointing towards a human character actually being an NPC. Especially in episode 2, there was a lot of emphasis put on the concept of AI and just how advanced they are. First off, while trying to entice Zooble to join in on the adventure in the Candy Canyon Kingdom, Kane tells her that
I'm testing out a new AI in this one. It should be 57 times more immersive.
this shows us
Huh.
that Kane is working on making his NPC characters more advanced. That creating
More
more
human-like.
realistic, human-like AI is a priority for this computer system. And elsewhere in the episode, we see this to be true. The AI of the NPCs we see in this new level is far and away more advanced than what we see in episode 1. First off, Princess Lou of the Candy Kingdom welcomes the cast as brave knights sent by God to help the kingdom in their time of need. As you can see from that
Egotistical.
stained glass window, the god here is clearly Kane. Therefore, these AI are advanced enough to understand that Kane created them and make their own religion around that, exactly how humans do in the real world. But more prominently than that, the themes of this episode really take a dive into what separates humanity from AI, if anything at all. One of the biggest moments here was Gummy Goo's internal existential crisis after falling
That
below
was
the
harsh
map,
to
where
see.
he realizes that nothing in his life is really real. His friends, his mom, even himself, none of them are actually real people.
I don't matter in the slightest. I'm nothing. My life, my memories, my friends, it's all fake.
First off, this shows us that the AI of the NPCs here in the digital circus is advanced enough to become self-aware. Gummy Goo absolutely understands that he isn't real. It's also worth noting that Gummy Goo doesn't shut down or get fried or abstract. He just becomes a bit of a sad boy once he realizes his situation, exactly the same
Yeah.
way humans do when they have their own existential crises in the real world. Been there, done that, my man.
Yeah,
So the
I can
AI is
relate.
even sturdy enough to handle that sort of shock to the system. And the thing that pulls Gummy Goo out of this depression, it's Pomni and her empathy. She lets Gummy Goo know that she understands how he's feeling, and that even people who come from her world, the real world, have these thoughts too. And when she invites Gummy Goo to come back to the circus with the cast, Gummy Goo asks,
Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me.
Pomni is straight up telling Gummy Goo that it doesn't matter if he's real or not. They are the same. At the very least, this is driving home the theme that the AI in this game and its human characters aren't actually so different. And combined
Yeah.
with everything else we've talked
But
about,
then
the
Kane
show is
ruined it.
absolutely seeding the possibility that one of the human characters is not what they seem. And so now that begs the question, who is it? Which one of them is an
Come on,
NPC?
show
Right
us
off
who
the
it
bat,
is.
we
It's
can
the
likely
bunny.
eliminate Zooble and Gangle. We haven't really had a chance to dig into their characters yet, and the show seems more interested in exploring them as comic relief than big twists. What about Kinger? He's supposedly been there the longest, and is definitely the one that seems the most glitchy, for the lack of a better term.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
I'm not so convinced. Similar to Zooble and Gangle, he's being positioned more as a side character, and one that really reflects both the comedy and tragedy of the situation the humans are trapped in. What's more, there's a lot of evidence pointing to Kinger being a QA developer who got sucked into the game. In the pilot,
A developer?
he asks,
Did someone say something about an insect collection?
and again, when he sees the Gloinks, he wonders.
Insect collection?
And then in the Candy Kingdom in episode 2, he points out,
They've even got little candy bugs here. It's so beautiful.
this interest in insects
My man,
would
you
make
was
sense to
Gohan.
a bug tester in his past human life. So it would
My brother, you speaking like Gohan. Talking about bugs and stuff. You talking like Gohan in the superhero movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just clicked on my head. I'm sorry. Let's
makes
continue.
sense for him to also be an NPC. That leaves us with just Ragatha and Jax.
Oh.
At first glance, Ragatha does seem like a good candidate, despite telling Pomni that there were no hard feelings for leaving her to the abstracted Kaufmo. If someone ever says that in a series like this, that means there are definitely hard feelings.
Oh,
So
true.
maybe she's being set up here as a secret antagonistic AI down the line. But at the same time, they're also really positioning her as a parallel to Pomni. She's trying to help Pomni fit in and feel better in exactly the same way that Pomni was trying with Gummy Goo. Thematically,
Yeah.
it makes more sense for Ragatha to fall into the mentor archetype, showing Pomni the ropes. Before
Yeah, and
Ragatha
unfortunately, I've seen
inevitably
people
falls
trying to
the
ship.
mentor occupational hazard trope, showing Pomni the dark fate that she herself could face. So no, I don't believe that they're setting Ragatha up to be an AI, which leaves us with Jax. And oh man, it could definitely
It
be
is
Jax.
him.
And there's a surprising amount of evidence pointing towards it. First of all, Jax being an NPC would make a lot of his quirks suddenly make a lot more sense. For example, Jax is the only character who's able to keep his head steady while driving a truck over the rocky road. Something that would probably be much easier for a computer program or an AI to do rather than a human. Additionally, gravity doesn't seem to affect him in the same way as the others. Notice that during the Mad Max truck chase sequence, characters like Pomni are thrown around by the momentum of the trucks. She has to hold on to prevent herself from being flung off the vehicles. But
Yeah.
Jax, he stands upright as the truck plummets vertically.
Like a Chad.
into the
Look at
chocolate
him.
river. This is much more similar to the Gator NPC Max, who is able to pull himself back up onto the bandage truck while similarly.
Hey, he was
ignoring
doing
the laws
he was
of
doing
physics.
tricks though. Don't
Jax
mess
is
with my
acting
mans.
more like an NPC here than the human cast. Now, obviously, these moments are played for comedic effect, but they stood out to me either way. Do you want some more serious examples? Well,
What?
for one, Jax is incredibly good at getting into places that he shouldn't. In the pilot, Jax reveals that he has keys to everywhere, all the other rooms in the circus. Additionally,
That is
he is able to
suspicious.
very easily steal the key to the Kingdom Walls in Episode 2. To me,
Uh-huh.
this sounds a lot like Jax has sort of administrator access to the circus and its connected levels. Like he's part of the computer system more so than the other cast. Oh, and another big thing here, he's the only one of the main cast that seems to break the fourth wall. It's kind of
Oh,
a blink and you miss
true.
moment, but in the first episode, Jax looks straight at the camera, straight at us. Though this could be played off as us being in the point of view of Ragatha, who immediately asks,
Why are you looking at me like that?
it's still a weird moment. And in episode 2, he does it again, shrugging directly at the viewer.
At
the
us.
only other character we've seen act similarly is another NPC, Kane, when he speaks directly to the audience at the beginning of the pilot.
My name is Kane. I'm your ringmaster.
What's more, Jax is also very interested in food, which is something we've only seen from NPCs and AI in the digital circus.
Yeah.
This was actually pointed out by Truthful Hero over on our subreddit, but Jax is the only one of the main castmates to show any real sign of hunger or even interest in food.
Oh no, they killed Zubul. Anyway, you guys want to go get something to eat? You know, I am
He is my
pretty
favorite
hungry.
character.
You didn't even do anything.
So what? I can still be hungry.
Why
That
this
is true.
significant? Well, according to Kinger, the humans in the digital world have no need to eat, drink, or sleep.
Well, not really, because we don't need to eat, drink, or sleep in this digital world, so the digital food here only gives off the virtual sensation of eating without any of the nutritional benefits.
However, NPCs do seem to need food. Like in episode 2, the crocodile man say that
Oh.
Much syrup would save hundreds of people.
this implies that foods like syrup can help NPCs, and this isn't even the only time we see NPCs eating or talking about food. In episode 1, Bubble eats the angel food cake.
You parasites!
Zubul and the Fudge speaks about eating
You
meat with
parasite!
townsfolk. We even see Kane and Bubble in a restaurant during the pilot, though it doesn't look like their food has arrived yet. Additionally, though we do see the human characters at a table set with food during the Last Supper scene in the pilot, we
Yeah.
don't see any of them eating. And this was given to them as a reward by Kane, an AI who would see food as essential. So, Jax craving food, unlike any of the other human characters we've seen so far, is another tell that he's an AI. But wait, I hear you saying, doesn't the show's official synopsis say that the Amazing Digital Circus is about 6 humans subjected to the whims of wacky AI? And
Yeah.
yes, that is correct. However, there are ways to explain this. Firstly, it could just be a marketing misdirect. I mean, you don't want to reveal your big twist in the synopsis you released before the first episode.
That is
But
true.
Even still, assuming that the synopsis is correct, it can still work. That 6th human could be Kaufmo the clown. Yeah, but while we don't see him before he abstracts Jax, he still is present in the first episode of the series, and his funeral played a big, thematic, important part in episode 2. That would mean that he's...
It also basically explains about Jax's whole personality in there, because if you guys remember from the reaction video that I did with episode 2, we saw that Jax didn't attend the funeral. He just scoffed and left. And at first I was like, man, this man do not care. But given the whole thing and assuming that Jax is indeed an NPC, then this would make sense because, you know, he sees this as something he'll never have because, yeah, Cosmo might get, you know, abstract and, of course, technically means he's dead. You know, surely he will... Our boy got ourselves a funeral, as we see right now on the screen. But Jax, being an NPC, he wouldn't really have a funeral. No one is really going to make a funeral for him, or will they ever do it? Because, I'm not trying to sound mean here, but if I met a person named Jax, I ain't going to their funeral. I'm sorry. But that's just going off right there. But... and how Jack's been treating everyone else, I don't think a lot of people would go to his funeral. And that's hurting me, because Jax really is my favorite character. So, with Jax secretly being an NPC, he knows that, one, he wouldn't really get the honor of getting a funeral, because he's an NPC. He could just brought back. Kang could just brought him back, so... his empathy, his kindness would just go down the drain. He'll just do what he wants, to be honest. Because why does it matter? If he gets destroyed or something, he could just be spawned back. So that's why he's scoffing. He's not getting a funeral. So why not? He gonna let loose. Go loony out here. That's just my thought. But I'll continue with this. I'll continue.
Still in the series and was still subjected to the whims of this wacky AI, thus making that synopsis still technically correct.
The best kind of correct.
And what's more, this isn't actually the only synopsis of the show that we've gotten so far. Gooseworks had a different one over on her teaser for the series uploaded to her personal YouTube channel, and this one describes the circus as a 3D animated pilot about a rogue AI that relentlessly has fun adventures with 6 human souls. Has fun adventures with is an interesting phrase to use here, since Kane never goes on any adventures with the cast. Yes, he makes them, and he pushes the other characters to join in on them, but he never goes on them himself. In both the in-house adventure from the pilot and the...
well, I mean, we're still on season 2. We're still on episode 2, so maybe he'll show up in at least in episode 5 or something. Or I don't know, probably.
Andy Kingdom in episode 2, he just kinda goes off and does his own thing after sending the cast on their way. But do you know who does go on the adventures with the other characters?
Jax.
And not only that, but he's excited to. In episode 1, as soon as Pomni shows up, like immediately afterward, he asks,
"So, Kane, we having a new adventure today for the newbie or what?"
In episode 2, he tries to
He's ready for destruction.
Ooh, a new AI. You don't want to mess with the new AI, Zuby?
And his reasoning for all of it?
I'm fine with doing whatever, as long as I get to see funny things happen to people.
He just wants to mess with them. Sounds
he
like
wants destruction.
Rogue AI who wants to torment the cast would think, doesn't it? And again, like, rogue AI and torment are weird words to describe Kane and what he does, right? Like, listen, I get it. What Kane is putting these characters through does not necessarily...
what he did to my boy was also Brad.
Torment? That doesn't track either. And at the very least, we do
you
know
popped my boy.
Some fun had by these human characters on the adventures. Ragatha and Kinger both seem excited by the Candy Kingdom castle, and Ragatha instantly likes Princess Lou.
Your kingdom's awesome, by the way. Love the vibe. I like you already. Look, Pomni, we're already friends with the princess.
That doesn't sound like someone who's tormented to me. But do you know who does torment the cast? Day in and day out, every time we see them? Jax. He's physically abusive. Like, just to name a few instances, he steps on Gangle's mask without caring, throws a bowling ball at Kinger to knock him into the gloink lair, pushes Gangle over for no reason, and throws Pomni out of the candy truck without a second thought. On top of that, he threatens them, often. He tells Ragatha that he left a centipede, her worst fear, in her room. Forces Gangle the syrup tanker, or he'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing, and saying that Ragatha's hair looks like licorice in front of a monster that eats people made out of candy.
Indeed.
He doesn't even bother to show up for Kaufmo's funeral, and
Exactly.
he's very unhappy when bad guys seem to die, like when the Fudge is seemingly killed in the Candy Kingdom.
I'm so unbelievably disappointed right now.
He even leaves the kingdom gates open for the Fudge so he can murder the Candy citizens. I could go on and on and on, but
This man's a monster.
rogue AI that torments others lines up way more with Jax, because even if he isn't the bad guy of the show, he's definitely a bad guy. On her Tumblr, Gooseworks has gone into great detail about how despicable Jax is. He's morally the worst character in the show. When a fan said that they hoped that Jax would get worse, she said that you're probably going to enjoy some of the things we have planned, and then later reiterated that he will become much worse, which I would say is accurate given how mean and cruel we see him being in episode 2.
And
perhaps
this is
most
just
important
episode
for us
2.
here today, when asked if Jax was just a jerk or an anti-hero, Gooseworks explains that there's absolutely nothing heroic about him. Would that be because he's actually the villain here? Yeah, friends, clearly. They are positioning Jax to be the true villain of this show, not Kane. And the biggest thing that clinched this for me, that convinced me that Jax was going to be the big bad who would break the system, believe it or not, it was the merch. Yeah, Jax
The
has
merch?
been positioned as a major character for Glitch through their merchandising since the very beginning. When the pilot for the Amazing Digital Circus first aired, tell me, what 2 characters do you think they made plushies out of, that they had ready for you to buy immediately as the episode ended? It was Pomni and Jax. Now, Pomni makes total sense. She is the main character.
Indeed.
But why Jax and not someone like Kane, who is the other poster character for the series, who is arguably the main antagonist? They position Jax to be just as important as Pomni with these plushes. And that isn't even the biggest hint we get through Glitch's merchandise.
Well, maybe because
All
Jax
of
is
the main
enjoyable.
characters for the Amazing Digital Circus now have enamel pins over on Glitch's store, and the card back for each of them has them in either the character's room or an environment directly connected to the character. Like Pomni is in her bedroom, as is Gangle, Zubul, and Ragatha. Kinger
Okay.
is in his pillow fort from episode 1, while Kane
Adorable.
and Bubble are on the circus stage. But where do you think that they put Jax? In his bedroom, like the others? In the main circus floor? Hiding somewhere? Breaking into someone else's room? Nope. Unlike the others, he's just outside of his bedroom. His nameplate broken and letters on the floor. But most importantly, the texture on the back of the card has been ripped, revealing the glitchy void underneath. Not
Oh.
even the ringleader for the circus, who creates and controls all of the levels of this world, is shown here in the void. His pin is still contained within the circus, but Jax is breaking apart from it, tearing it down. Why would they add this detail only to Jax's pin if they weren't trying to tell us that there's something deeper going on with this character? That just underneath the surface, he's glitchy and robotic and computer-generated, just like the void. The evidence speaks for itself. Someone in this cast is definitely an AI, and Jax is the perfect candidate. He's malicious, he's weird, he's different from the other characters.
And he's a
even
menace.
his merch has set him apart. So I'm calling it here. Don't be surprised when he's revealed to be the big bad AI at the end of this series. But that being said, Jax wasn't the only contender I had in mind while writing.
Oh my god, I just realized something. Oh no. You know, if MatPat was the one, if MatPat was, you know, doing this whole thing, he would make a connection with him and Glitchtrap. Because yet again, we have another bunny that is apparently now connected to glitches. Just like Glitchtrap. Oh my god. Even though MatPat's not here to point it out, I have to be the one to point it out. Oh no. And look, Jax is purple, so he must be purple. Just continue the video before I start breaking down.
In this video, there's actually a lot of evidence pointing towards Pomni being an NPC too, which
What?
we'll be exploring very soon. Yeah, we'll be doing another episode exploring the possibility that Pomni is actually a secret AI NPC in the near future. So
How?
subscribe if you don't want to miss that episode when it hits. But until then, as always, remember that it's all just a theory. A film theory.
Okay, my bad. Alright, sure. We're getting into the episode. Okay. Alright guys, well that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think. Honestly guys, I think it's a big... I think we all know it's gonna happen. Now we're just waiting for the inevitable that Jax is a villain. Shoot, it might even happen like in the penultimate episode, I think. But I mean like... great. I know... Guys, I'm just saying it right now. I just now caught up that glitches, rabbits, sounds awfully familiar with Glitch Trap, and the fact Jax is purple, so, oh no. We just can't get away with FNAF, can we? But anyways, leave in the comments down below if you guys want me to react to more, you know, Digital Circus stuff. Honestly, I love this show, and I'm definitely want to check out episode 3 when it comes out, so... If you want my reaction for episode 3, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're trying to upload daily and I'm trying to catch up with all the other stuff that we missed out. Hopefully with my season flu off. This is Juan Gamer 54 signing off.